And finally, the fourth big chapter in our risk management journey is we don't have to forget, we have to remember the risk management team itself, because upgrading risk management team is a very, very important step in the journey. And it could be building up, hiring or educating and building quantitative skills. And again, I hope this is kind of comes across as clear as I wanted to. Qualitative risk management is not risk management. It's astrology. Quantitative risk management is only considered risk management. So I don't understand where this kind of idea comes from that, we do qualitative until we mature and then we do quantitative. It doesn't work like that. Qualitative risk management is not risk management. It's like, we're doing astrology until we're mature enough, and then we start doing astronomy. So basically, physics and chemistry and math, and we're gonna suddenly send men to space. It doesn't really work like that. These two things are not stages of maturity. They're just rubbish and not rubbish, and you can't choose one on Monday and then the other one on Tuesday. You have to play serious. So quantitative is kind of is a given. Like there's no dancing around it. If you don't have it, you have to hire someone who has it, and or you can outsource it. But you can't not do anything, because whatever else you do is just risk management one, and that's not real risk management. Soft skills, of course, are important, because quantifying risks is actually not as difficult as communicating the outputs of quantification of risks. And you do need good communicators and powerful people who can sell the risk messages to the other decision makers. And then, of course, the final skill that is super important is understanding the nature of the business, understanding the chemistry behind the products that your company is producing, understanding the logistical routes, understanding the basic, the kind of the technology used, why certain chemical plants are high risk versus other chemical plants that are lower risk. All of that is absolutely important, and that's why we joined like different chemical engineering associations, so we can learn and learn from other risk engineers. And we hired risk. We're not hired. We outsourced. We consulted in risk engineers who would teach us about certain risks within the production plants when we started looking at operational risk. And I hired ex-insurance guys when I was given a task to investigate and fix the insurance. I immediately, like literally the next day, I hired an insurance genius who was upskilling me on the products and the markets, which was hilarious because he brought in all of the biases from the industry, and his perception changed completely, like 100%. All of his ideas, his initial hypothesis that he was saying, we've actually proven incorrect, because his hypotheses were the same as the market hypothesis, and we've proven them wrong time after time, and we completely changed kind of the perception of the market. And the second last message, risk management too requires tools. You really want to automate risk management one if possible, and this is a screenshot from Archer Insight that allows you to turn any risk register into a quantitative risk register and quantify it very simply. And you also want to invest in proper modeling tools. So make sure you catch my first workshop last Monday at the Risk Awareness Week. To catch, when I say catch, it means go to the website, click on watch the workshops, and watch the replay of that workshop. When I talk about 3 levels of risk analysis, and when I illustrate how you can get some of the value from the basic level, how you then create bow ties, quantitative bow ties, and that gives you additional insights, and how you build purpose-built models, like specifically, and you can now all do that in the same software package. So automating helps a lot. The good news is it pays for itself. you can save so much money on a single automation of risk analysis that your licenses are kind of paid for eternity. And in my mind, it's really a no-brainer. And then I think this is the final kind of message is networking and learning from others should be really a big part of risk management team development, because risk management too is not new. You're not starting from scratch. You don't have to recreate the wheel. Quantitative risk analysis have been done by people who have been on top of the game for decades. Some of the methodologies are the same as people used in Second World War. Some of the methodologies are the same as insurance companies used in 16th century and 17th century. So all very old things. If you don't have an answer for something, it doesn't mean that the problem is unsolvable. It just means you need to find somebody who has the answer, because there are answers for most of the problems out there. Like all of the me and Sam Savage, who is also a speaker at the Risk Awareness Week, me and Sam Savage actually did a session. Like we did a whole series of webcasts. We have 10 webcasts on the YouTube channel, on the Risk Academy YouTube channel. Let me post it. I do encourage everybody to sign up for that. On the Risk Academy YouTube channel, me and Sam Savage there's a playlist called Chance Talk, and in that webcast we go through one by one 10 risk management myths and excuses, he calls it lame excuses, that Sam and Doug Hubbard came up, and they called 10 lame excuses for not quantifying risks. And we actually destroy every single one of them, because most of the things that are circulating in your brain, you think, oh, well, this is an issue, like we don't have enough data, our data is not quality, how do we represent a model, our situation is too complex, how do we model tail events, like all of this has been solved decades ago. All you need to do is just find people who've done it and ask them how they've done it. And Risk Awareness Week is this perfect environment where you can communicate with the other risk professionals, because the only kind of the fundamental reason behind why I created Risk Awareness Week is I wanted to separate Risk Management 1 from Risk Management 2. So Risk Awareness Week only has Risk Management 2, and this is very important to separate and identify Risk Management 1 events and Risk Management 1 speakers, because 3 minutes into the conversation, it has to be pretty clear to you that this has zero practical value and it's just all hypothetical, theoretical, academic nonsense. And you can continue if it's fun, but don't try it, apply it at work, because you'll waste your time and you actually jeopardize your career. Most of the Risk Management 1 ideas, frameworks, methodologies, ERM, COSO, all of the suggestions that they do, if you do them in your work, you will get fired, or you will stay in your kind of low paying, low respect role, and risk will be seen as this afterthought. Why do it? It's such a waste. And have fun doing risk management. I think I'm just under hour and a half, and this is really everything that I wanted to share. Ask questions. I'll stay online for a bit to answer your questions. Maybe there's a topic that I didn't cover, I forgot to cover, and you want me to talk about that. Obviously, I've tried and tested many of the things you can think of in risk management, so I may have a story on the topic that you're interested. And if I don't, I'll find the person who does, because one of the Risk Awareness Week speakers bound to have that experience. By the way, I just did that for a friend of mine in the Middle East. She was asking for an expert who did quantitative risk analysis for the purposes of optimizing asset performance and asset maintenance. And I found 3 of the speakers that have actually done that in different parts of the world, in Australia, in US, and in a different part of US. So I'll connect them, and then they can learn from one another. All right, have fun. And if you're not having fun, if you're just doing risk management one, might as well look for a better job, because there are places that really appreciate and support good decision making. You don't need to be stuck in updating your quarterly risk register, because such a shameful waste of effort for a risk professional. We can and should do better. All right. Thank you very much for listening. Any questions, please ask away if you have anything else that I haven't responded yet to.